I hope people will forgive me for lumping up her picture with the person or other people who misused it. And yeah, so you wonder why was it, if the message was so innocent, and it could have been innocent, careless, reckless, not considerate, but not loaded with political negativity, wasn't her intention.
Welcome to the Voices podcast. Today's conversation, we are looking at three main topics. Today we are talking about unemployment in Rwanda, and also tracing it from the recent conversation that went viral on social media in Rwanda, where a young lady who was really crying foul for unemployment in the country, where she was saying that that we are broke and cooked. And of course, this is a conversation that went even beyond borders, where people were saying what went wrong, because she was saying that she's unemployed, and also looking at what she would have said. The second topic, you'll be looking at the sanctions, where Rwanda Defense Force and some commanders of the army were sanctioned in the country. Also be looking at the impact it has for the country and also on the institution as the RDF and also these officials. We also talk about on a topic to look at the government, the President Paul Kagame is, telling the citizens or calling citizens to always bring to account the officials who are not performing well, and of standing against the non-performing officials. We'll be looking at that all with our guest today, Mr. Ignatius Kabagambe, who is a usual guest here. It's your second time here.
Yes.
And we appreciate your time always coming.
Ordinary citizen.
Yes, we appreciate your time always coming here on the show.
Thank you.
So, as I mentioned, that today we want to talk about unemployment in the country. I want to make this kind of a casual conversation.
Yes.
You are very famous on social media.
Am I?
You're very famous on social media.
Oh, really?
You don't know that?
I didn't know.
You're famous on social media. And of course, looking at, I saw a video that got 900K and 15 on your Twitter handle.
I haven't.
X handle, sorry.
I haven't tracked it lately. I'm going to check and see.
People trust your information so much. So when you commented on the video that after then went viral on social media, where this young woman was this young lady, she was trying to say that she's unemployed, she's broke, and she's cooked. She said we are broke and cooked.
Yeah, and everything bad.
Yeah. And after that, your response was like, by looking on how she looks, the dressing, the skin and all the way she was set up, that she looked known to be unemployed. And you went on to say, this is somehow linked to, something else. And so many people in the comment sections, people kept on saying that you really politicized this video. And myself, I went on to check on her social medias, and I checked on her TikTok, and I didn't see any other video that is kind of like that one, where she kind of intends to criticize the government or trying to show that something is not happening in the country about unemployment and all that. So to someone who saw that video and saw your comments, what was the motive behind your response?
Yeah. Thank you very much for having me again, Arafat. Yeah. Straight to the question you ask. What was my motive when I made a comment? I will first start by setting the record straight. That young woman, I didn't even call her what people said I was calling her, Ikigarasha. No, I didn't. The only thing I did was get her picture and place it in a square where there were, I think, other three people, pictures of other three people who are infamous for being irrational, unreasonable critics of the Rwandan government. Mu Kinyarwanda abo nibo abantu bajya bita ibigarasha. Uriya mwana, I didn't call her ikigarasha at all.
So you clearing the air that you didn't call her
No,
ikigarasha.
I didn't.
Because today I was speaking to one of my friends,
yes,
and he was saying that when you put her among those three people, three
yes,
or four people,
yes,
it was automatic that you had, put her into that group of the Ibigarasha. People who are Ibigarasha, the ones perhaps against the leadership of the government of Rwanda. So are you trying to say that it is not true, you didn't do that just to name her among them?
No, I didn't call her ikigarasha. Even adding to that, I've never thought, I don't think, ko ari ikigarasha. She is not. And even when I did that and did a comment, I didn't call her ikigarasha. The only thing that people need to remember is that so-called, one of those so-called Ibigarasha was the first one to bring to social media, particularly on X, because the video was on her TikTok, I think. But to X, Twitter, I think one of those people was the first to bring it there and actually politicize it. Politicize the message that in the first place, on the face of it, many would not have taken it to be political. But that woman, she's the one who politicized it first. So she politicized it, and she's the one who brought it out in a political sense. And she was urging her followers and others, whoever else follows her, was going to read what she posted, to look at it from a political point of view. So the young woman was a victim of someone who misused, who misinterpreted, who distorted. They didn't distort her words, but I think they misconstrued her message. And so when you put out a message that is easily used in a negative way, in a negative political sense, people will be doubting, wondering whether, especially when the first person to use it is one who misuses it or who uses it in politically negative way. And so I hope people will forgive me for lumping up her picture with the person or other people who misused it. And yeah, so you wonder why was it, if the message was so innocent, and it could have been innocent, careless, reckless, not considerate, but not loaded with political negativity, wasn't her intention. But those who will pick her video, her message, and just put it together with those who used it, you might want to forgive them. Because, I don't know, up to now, I don't know, I can't prove whether she wasn't asked to do a message like that by the person who first posted it on X. Because it is possible. Yeah, it is possible. But it is something I don't know. But because the person who picked it from the young woman's TikTok account and posted it first on X and making all kinds of noise that, look, see what government has been denying, people are finished, people are cooked, What was she looking for? That's point number one. Point number two, unfair to her for people to say, now that you have labeled, now that you have put her image with these who are professional Ibigarasha career detractors, you are unfair to her, she's innocent. Sometimes I don't even know what people are making noise about. Because if she said, the people who are saying this message is innocent, this woman is innocent, I agree with the woman being innocent, she's not Ikigarasha, but the message is not innocent. But that's one. The other point is that why worry? What were people worried about? That what did they think was going to happen to her? Because even the career detractors, career Bigarasha, are there free in the world and here in social media. And nothing is happening to them because some of them do it in a way that they don't break any law, they're just making bad noise, but not breaking any law. So this young woman is free and she will forever be free. So, but
okay, keep going.
People were saying that I made her uncomfortable. Maybe they were also uncomfortable. Okay. But then if she was uncomfortable and if she put out a message that was misused, I guess that is a lesson to her. The next time when she's going to do messages, next time when she's going to vibe, next time when she's going to go quick, if that's what she was trying to do, she and other people need to be careful because their messages are going to be picked and misused. Their messages are going to be picked and misused by those whom they don't share similar political interest. So she was a victim of someone who misused her message. And in the end, because at the end of the day, I'm in direct political confrontation, communication-wise, with the person who misused her message. So I wasn't going to take it lying down. But because at the end of the day, if you keep quiet, people will think, if you don't come in and put a stop to it, viewers, followers, readers, audiences, they are targeting, especially the youth, because the youth, indeed, they're innocent because they might be seeing something and say, yeah, it's true. What Nadia Mugunga said about this message is true. So you come out. Of course, you come out fighting. Fighting on which side? On the side that was being attacked. So the government of Rwanda is not looking at this. This is what the government of Rwanda should be looking at. So,
but if you are to be honest to her,
yes.
If you are to be honest here, was her information not valid? If you look at the statistics,
it was out of context.
No, if you look at statistics today, about 14% of men, young people, youth are unemployed in Rwanda, higher than even the adult. I think the adults are just 10%, and that is a fact that we have rampant unemployment among young people. And in your second tweet, I don't know if you
check them out.
In your second tweet, you said, let me check it out. Okay, you said, there is this second tweet where you said, starting it, you said that, let me read just part of it. I think I can get it here. I wonder, like you said, a caution against misleading narratives. This video sounds more political than economic. The young woman claims she's dumb broke, yet says nothing about her job, skills, or the income source that dried up. That omission raises doubts about sincerity. And also in the comments, there's someone who said, since when looking smart and decent and smart means that someone cannot be struggling financially. And also, I'll pose the same question to you. Her look, her, the way she was dressed, the way she was smart, and also looking at having not really showed her job or maybe what she was doing that failed, that dried up, meant that she cannot be she cannot be struggling financially, or she's not struggling financially. But also bringing it to the fact that how did you want her to, if she wanted to raise this kind of same question, how should have done it according to you?
Let me first say this. In her message, for me, I had a problem with 4 elements. Where she said, one, where she said, these are the kind of things that government should be looking at.
That is a fact.
Unemployment.
That is a fact.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why I have a problem.
Okay. These are the things the government should be looking at.
Yeah, she's claiming, she's asserting and emphasizing that government doesn't look at such things. I don't even have to ask you. That is not true. Government is looking at that. Youth employment. A few days later, the Minister of Youth came out and displayed all the efforts the government is involved in to make sure as many youth as possible get employment. So government is looking at those things, but not yet to the extent that avails a job to every youth. Number 2, she said,
but it's also true that the government is planning to have about every year at least 250 jobs.
Absolutely.
But it is not.
It's not doing that. I don't know.
I think they've not reached the number.
Exactly. They always have targets.
They always have
maybe
targets.
they don't meet them, but they are making an effort.
Sure.
And an effort
that I agree.
that is genuine. That's my point. So these are things that government should be looking at. Now, young person already, does she even know what government is looking at and what is not? So this is what government should be looking at. And then she's added, government is not looking at this. Ibi nibyo leta yakabaye yitaho. Ibi ntabwo leta ibireba. Now she's making
this girl was
alarming noise. She became an alarmist. Now, me as a communications person, and I'm involved in corporate communication, political communication, all kinds of communication. That is not nice. You're already saying, you're talking to fellow youth, the government doesn't look at this. It's like you're saying government doesn't have focus. And someone who works for this government, who knows what it does, I said I couldn't take that lying down. So, leta ibintu ibibona, leta ibintu byo yakabaye yitaho. Okay, so those are 2 points. Now the other 2 elements, I said, we are cooked. We are everything bad. So, first of all, she didn't look like she was cooked. Number two, she didn't look like she's everything bad. Now, everything cooked means twara here, twara shizi. Cooked.
But
Like cooked, we are burning. Number two, we are everything bad. Umva turi nta kintu gihari, nothing is good. We are everything bad means nothing good about us. Nothing good about us. In other words, and this is how you realize her focus, her target indeed is government. So if the youth are everything bad and are cooked, the blame is on government, because she mentioned government twice before. And I can pose a question to you or to anybody else. When you are broke, and I'm sure maybe even now you are broke.
yes, I am. I am broke.
But do you blame government every time you are broke? Because we are sitting in this studio and we are able to come here. You had the resources to start it, your production, your business. You didn't get this money from Dubai or from America or from South Africa, from Uganda. You earned this money here and you are investing it here, and maybe you had 30 million francs, maybe 15, maybe 8, maybe 5. And then as you're buying these machines, this lighting or these systems or these gadgets, your money is finished probably before you even can do you can produce the first episode of your podcast. Maybe you don't even have money to pay staff. So you're broke. So you quickly blame someone else. Now this time, government for our purposes. That you are broke. So you forget that you earned the 5 million and you were able
to invest
it here, enabled by the economic and business environment in Rwanda, and now you somehow want to load it on government. I think that is what that young woman was doing, because she was, like we were saying, she was looking good. And she has a phone that she said was very expensive. She had nice hair, braids, the dress, the scarf, and the skin. And she's looking at her phone that she mentioned, her dressing, her hair, her skin, her eyes, her everything. You don't look like that after you have been broke for 1 year. Maybe she was broke for a moment. And so what I expected her to do is to say, I am broke. I never thought this would come to me. Now I'm broke for a month or 2. Don't have a job. Government, where are you? Thank you for making it possible. I had a job the other day for months, for a year, but now I'm broke again. I can't afford being out of job for months, because I thought Rwanda should give me a job every time I'm out of one. And so I saw in her language the kind of message that only blames without appreciating what has been. You are in a moment, maybe you've gone without food, but how about yesterday and the other week and the other month and the other year? So that was, for me, that was my problem. That was my analysis. And somehow I was doing it like an elder, talking to other youth like her. You don't just become that hostile and careless and reckless in your language simply because you had a disappointment yesterday about a job opportunity that you didn't get. And so how? So you are unhappy that you don't have a job. It's like being unhappy with your parents because you didn't have food last night. And then you say, my parents, I don't think you are serious. And you're calling me unserious, me as your dad and your mom, you're calling us unserious. And you are 22. We've raised you to 22. Feeding you, clothing you, taking you to school and everything. And then for a day or two, when there's no food at home, you just think we are useless. Okay, I know there's a little boy who told her dad and said, Papa, nitwongera kuburarura buri imbwa. Maybe that's your money. So unemployment levels, they're there. I mean, that's why we are. But even rich countries have unemployed people. We are.
So I like it that you admit to that.
Yes.
You admit to unemployment, that we have unemployment among youth in Rwanda.
Yeah.
But now, for me, the main question here is, yes, let's agree. She was, she was pissed somehow. She was really, maybe.
By who?
I don't know.
So that's why I was
I'm just
asking
referring to her message as you just
her.
raised it. And speaking to you as a father who has also daughters, who has also, children, let's be honest. Were you fair to her? Because you pushed her out to be eaten.
By who? Eaten by who?
By the,
eaten by who?
By the social media.
No, she wasn't eaten. Actually, it was me who was eaten.
No, you were not. Look,
I'm telling you the truth.
Do you know why I'm saying this? Look, had you not really responded and reached out to her in her inbox, that's how I assume. That's how I perceive it. Because you know very well that the following you have on Twitter or even on other social media platforms, to this young lady, me, the way I perceived it, I think she was really pissed in one way or the other. I don't know. And she was like, let me just say this. But commenting in a way...
Just let me say anything.
No. Let me say what I'm feeling.
Okay.
Let me say what I'm feeling. Maybe someone else was behind
her.
her.
Right.
Maybe someone else was behind her. We can't prove that. Maybe she was alone. She did it on her own. But if this happens to one of your daughters, and someone else, maybe...
So why is it not happening to her? Instead, the comments that kept dropping in were also politicizing it. And those who many times were on different sides had a chance of coming at me. And people were pleading for her and just said, it's like they had an opportunity to say, Kabagambe, now you this one, you've missed it. This one, you got it wrong. This one, apologize. Apologize for what? I'm offering a job to the person so-called affected. What do you want? Apology mu magambo ivuze iki? Ntakivuze. Mvuge se kubyo navuze atari byo. Ya message, it was wrong. But uyu mwana no twahurira n'ubu ngubu namuhobera tukanaseka and then anamubwira ngo ku kazi urimo, if you ever leave it, come, I will give you a job.
Wow, that's nice. So you, in simple terms, you a little bit regret for having put her into that position.
I don't regret. Actually, I don't regret, but I'm sorry. By the way, am I even sorry to who? If I had ever met her or talked to her and told me any inconveniences that she encountered because of what I wrote, I would have reason to say, oh, sorry, I didn't know it would go that far. I didn't know you'd be that inconvenienced. But now I say sorry to who? To people who are on social media whose interests you can't even know. Some of their interests are very sinister. They're just fighting wars, battles that are just starting up on me, against me, not necessarily in good interest, not necessarily from a good heart, So I don't care about those. So, but if I met this young woman and she tells me what she went through, I would really apologize to her and say, sorry, I'm sorry for taking you through that. But now I don't know. So you need to apologize to us. Apologize to us. Now, and you're saying that, apologize to us.
To who? Who are
the
those?
People, the
people in the comments.
In the comments.
Okay. Let's say this. Would you apologize to her, not to other people? At least to her. Say, please, I'm sorry, I did this, but I didn't know it would take you this far.
I would first talk to her, get to understand. By the way, you never know. Maybe she would apologize to me, say, sorry, oh my God, I'm sorry, I wasn't careful when I was doing this message. I'm sorry, I didn't know it would be taken out of context. I didn't know that Ichigarasha or whatever would pick it. And I'm sorry, I didn't know that. I would be looking for that from her. And then that would give me ground to say, oh, yeah, sorry, you learned a lesson. And I'm sorry that when I picked it and used it, maybe you felt worried and concerned, and I'm sorry about that. So we would apologize to each other. But I can tell you it would depend on whether she's also remorseful on having put out a message that was inappropriate and unfair to her government, and that is baseless, that was out of context.
Wow. I like it. So I think the conversation about that, I think let's leave it there, because unemployment, we agree together that it is there.
Yes.
But of course, as you mentioned, that the way of advocating for availability of employment or creating more jobs shouldn't be through that way. It should be brought in a way that is really appreciative of what has been done, and of course, asking for more to be done. You
touched on something that I now remember I didn't comment on. Like someone was saying that you said it, that it wouldn't be the first time that someone is broke and they are looking good. Yes, you can be broke. Like you said, you can be broke and you're looking good. Yeah, but if you make it alarmist like she did, what are you trying to do? And I said, if you are broke, like you looking what you look, then you have what you have, the phone. Where did you get the money to buy the phone? Where did you get the money to be who you are? The regalia on you, shoes, your bag. Where do you get money to? Because you were working yesterday.
No, maybe because we have relatives who give us things, phones,
So yeah, okay, donations, right?
Maybe someone donated them to.
Right. So are there other youth like you have jobs? Or people like you, Arafat, who have jobs?
Yes.
You are broke.
They are.
Maybe you are out of job, but there are other people like you who have jobs.
They are.
So why don't you have a job? So I'm asking this rhetorical question because I know the answer. Not every time you don't have a job, someone else is responsible for that. When do you take responsibility that you don't have a job? Because you may not be having a job because maybe you've rejected some jobs, maybe you have not taken advantage to go and sharpen your skills. So you don't have a job, fine. But other people have jobs, so you don't have a job. And that is normal. But not every time you don't have a job, someone else, including government, is to be blamed for that. And so government is trying to create jobs. And it wants to create more jobs than it's creating because it is making it possible for 100,000 to get jobs, and then another 100,000 hasn't gotten a job. So later, I could see that in her message, even in the face of youth, it wasn't something I thought would be very inspiring, because you're only inspiring them in making noise. And I ask the question, so you're broke, or you don't have a job, and you are not asking for a job, by the way. You're not asking for a job. You should have taken opportunity to say, because she's a vibe on TikTok. If I were her, I would have taken the opportunity to say, this is who I am, this is what I'm trained in, this is what I can do, I can sing, I can speak, I can receive people, I can clean, I can type, I'm an IT person, I'm a beautician. Hire me, I would do an excellent job. Advertise yourself. But what did she do? She just went out to say, I'm cooked, we are everything bad, government hasn't done this. So which chance are you giving yourself in view of a potential employer to call you and give you a job? There wasn't. And so, and the message to people like her was like, other youth, fellow youth, where they are you going, I hope you are not going to be looking at this young woman and think she has done the right thing. So that you also feel like you are so entitled, you need a job, but what do you have? Because anyone who wants to give you a job, right? They'll want to know what you have to offer them in that job, and they give you a pay. So the young woman didn't do that. And I was worried, concerned that other young people like her, probably younger, will look at her as a role model. She's nice, she's looking good, so they want to look good also. But you want to look good and earn more big, or earn whatever you earn, probably without doing something tangible. So I was looking at it from a deeper point of view in terms of how I was analyzing it. Parenting, education, social norms, social behavior, especially looking at our children.
So as a communicator, if someone wants to advocate for unemployment, I just want us to tell us, I want you to tell us how should the message be passed? Let's assume you want to advise her on how she would have made the message. Maybe what I get from her message is that she was not speaking for herself, because she would have she would have advertised herself, as you say.
Actually,
but I think she was advocating for other people who are unemployed. If she was not speaking
for herself, then she put on the wrong dress, the wrong hair, the bag, the scarf, the phone. Because she was including herself. And so you're saying we are cooked, but you don't look like you are cooked. We are finished. You don't look like you are finished. And
we've agreed that I can be finished as I am.
How?
Right now.
Inside. Maybe something else is
finishing
finishing you.
I can be struggling financially.
Maybe your girlfriend didn't talk to you nicely yesterday. Or maybe your wife wasn't polite. Or maybe your husband or your friend. But I don't think it has anything to do with being cooked or finished financially. And it has nothing to do with the government.
That I agree that your problems should not already be blamed to the government. That's 100% I agree. Second, what I don't agree is that my appearance can determine how broke or cooked I am. It cannot. I might be dressed well, but suffering inside financially. That for me, I agree with it 100% that it's not true. You can be looking as smart as you can, but you can be broke.
We said that is true. That is true.
A church.
Yeah, but when you are smart, when you have a phone, when you have a bag, when you have a dress, when you have makeup, when you have hair, when things are good, they came from money, and the money got finished. But where it came from before it got finished, you need to appreciate that. And then you say, now I'm broke. I need more money. So I'm looking for money, guys. Where you show me where money is?
Yeah. Okay. So I will take my initiative to look for this woman and this girl, and at least get to know if she gets to give me time, at least to get to understand what she meant. I want us to shift to our next topic. Our next topic is looking at, our President Paul Kagame, has really built reputation for demanding accountability from his officials, government officials. And of course, I think in one of the recent dialogues, he went on to say that for non-performing officials, calling the public or the citizens to go against them and saying, if needed be, beat them. It was like, beat them if they don't perform. And he was saying that there's no official who deserves to be in any position if he's not performing. And that for me was really strong enough to think about why not ask you about it. What does that mean today?
Well, I'm yet to find out whether he's disappointed that there has been no report of someone who has been beaten by citizens. I don't know. Maybe he has it. Yeah, but that's on a light note, because I'm very well aware that he was communicating something using a certain analogy that he thought in the moment was good for him. Yeah, he was doing two things, in my view. He was talking to the citizens, the ordinary person, and then talking to the leaders, members of government, of institutions, in public, private, civil society. They are the people who are in charge of provision of services. And then talking to the citizenry, the rank and file of the Rwandan population, Bahabwa service. And you can relate his message, that message, to what he has said before, which at GSI we refer to ourselves to many times.
People who don't know GSI.
Golden Service Initiative, that initiative that I and other enthusiasts about service delivery in this country came together on 12th October 2024, and we say we're going to create a platform where it's going to be our daily business to share feedback about service delivery, about customer care, about customer service, and we applaud where it's right, good. We share where it's not good and encourage improvement. Yeah, and we now have 7 groups moving towards 7,000. Last time I was here, we were around 6,000. So that's what we do every day, and I know you are on those groups. So GSI, so often I pull out an inspiring message. Actually, it's the one that inspired GSI, where the president was heard saying, abantu muhabwa service mbi mukagenda nkaho nta cyabaye namwe mumeze nk'abo batanga service mbi. People who receive unsatisfactory service and they accept it as it is, no complaint, no pushing back, say there's no difference between you and the person who has given you a poor service. And I totally agree with that. And so when he was in that RPF Congress, that is exactly what he was repeating. And by the way, before the RPF Congress, remember, in a press conference, I think it is Deve or RBA who brought up a question about service, right? And the president said, yeah, I'm disappointed that still goes on, that, people, service providers are not up to their game. they still come short. And then he said, but also, you people in the media fraternity, you need to be doing something about that. It's like, be the voice that calls out those who are not giving a good service. Do it for yourselves as professional media people. Do it for the citizens. You are the voice. Or the voiceless. And then he went on to say, you don't say it. Or when you say it, you don't say it right. Or you only go for the one you have beef with. And so again, you remember you realize he was saying, this time because he was with Abanyamakuru, he was saying, you journalists also have a problem. You are either shy, or you're not serious, or you're not genuine, or you are, are you hypocrites? Fine. There are people who are not giving a good service. What about you? What are you doing about it? So in the RPF Congress, that's what the president was doing. He was his biggest hit, of course, the harder punch was on the service providers. Be beaten. I wish you were, people would gang up and come and beat you up. But by the time he says that, disappointed with the service providers, with us, the leaders, he's also disappointed with the citizens that they fail to demand what is for them. It's like he's saying, why don't you get up, get your sticks, go and cane them. He was like saying, I would be there right behind you. By the time he says that, it's because he has consistently noticed a baseless timidity among us, abashaka service. How does someone give you poor service and you accept? You write to someone, they don't reply, and you go, they don't give you something. Why do you accept it? How has it become our nature as Rwandans that we accept things that should be unacceptable? So it cuts both ways, because the person giving you poor service probably doesn't think they should give you more. And then on the other side, the person receiving the service probably doesn't know they deserve better. This afternoon, I was having a conversation with someone about service in a salon, because someone came to me and said, I got this kind of comment, someone to the extent of telling me to never come back to their salon. Imagine. And so I had spare time and then went there, and I was looking at the salon owner, and I realized
You were looking at the salon owner.
The salon owner, because she's the one who had a conversation with.
And you saw she was innocent, right?
She was indeed. She was innocent, because the customer is unsatisfied, and the salon owner is there arguing. Please, you don't have time to argue with a customer who is unsatisfied.
I like the way you said. I went on and looked at the salon
because she's trying to justify her actions. In front of a customer, you don't argue, just apologize. I'm sorry, that won't happen again. And it doesn't even mean that the customer is always right. But you, the business owner, the manager, you are always wrong when you try to justify the actions that didn't please your customer. Just apologize. Apologize and move on. and have conversations later about how it can be done differently or it can stay the same. But make sure you go into the mind of the customer and be humble. Show them humility. That's what they are looking for. So the president was speaking to us that much as these people, my people, the people I appoint, are disappointing me, but you, the citizens, are equally disappointing. So when you demand, when you become hard, when you become tougher and more confident and push and resent, you're going to get better results. There you will be helping yourselves, helping me, and helping this country in our drive to improve service delivery. So that was his message. That's what he wanted. So it was a disappointment on both sides.
But now, if we are to go into practice, how does this rhetoric statement translates into actual accountability on ground? Because I want to look at it in a way, because we hear it and we take it, but how can it be put into practice? To be sincere, if I go to maybe the sector office, maybe I'm requesting for any services from, because one thing to appreciate is that the government has really done a very great job to digitize majority, so many of the services.
Yes,
the government has done a very great job digitizing these services that it's now I think, to me, just like 30% can take you to sector office or any other office. 80% can be accessed online on Irembo. That is a very good thing. It has actually limited the number of cases that people receive from poor service delivery. But coming to officials, you as someone who follows this closely, if I get poor service from a sector officer, how can this beating and standing against them translate into actual accountability on ground? How can this be practiced?
The experience we have in GSI, the experience I have myself out here when I respond in a certain way towards someone who gave me a service I didn't appreciate. How I respond, how I react has great impact on what someone is going to do about it. Yeah. Again, I'll go back to the example I just gave you.
Of a salon lady.
Yeah, the salon lady. I went there with that customer of hers and we had a conversation. When we started, she felt, the salon owner thought, and she was pleased, by the way, the bad service to that customer was given by her staff. Yeah, and so I asked the salon owner, to come and to have a conversation. And so I could see that how we started and how we ended totally different, because she was defensive when we started, to the extent of saying, you came here, there was no appointment, but I still received you, so. And I was trying to tell her that that's not a favor to us. That's a favor to her. Because if we didn't come, first of all, she would not know. The fact alone that we went there is good for her. Because we want to make sure we clear the air, we amend the relationships, and we restore her image in our face so that she can go back there. That's good for you, because the opposite of that is someone who is not going there and they are just talking
about your business.
About your business. They will never recommend. They are not coming back. They are talking to friends. They are never going to, So it's good for her but still she was looking at it like it was a favor. And then I remember that, no, this is not a favor. It's not a favor. And so how we started and how we ended, totally two different things. Because in the end, she really realized that she could have done a lot better. And I went to a point where I said, I'm looking at you and I can see in your face that you are genuine and you didn't have bad faith. But you are this kind of person who gave your best in terms of addressing the issue your customer has been raising, has raised to you, to your staff and to your manager. And not even an apology came from your staff who wronged her. And so I'm looking at you and I realize that you didn't have bad faith. You don't want to lose this customer, but you are the kind of person who gave your best. And I'm here to tell you that what you gave as your best wasn't good enough. And then the conversations, I could now see, I started seeing her, the language, her tone changed and I could see now, you could look at her in her eyes that she really didn't mean to not handle it well. And even the customer felt her, and because she had calmed down, she had lowered her defensiveness. But how did it come about? It's because I kept coming to her with honest interpretation of the comments she's making, the sorry she can't make. At one point I said, but look, kuva tugeze hano, you've been talking to this lady. So the other staff, your staff didn't apologize to her. Do you realize that up to now, after talking for like 30 minutes, even you, no sorry that has come out of you. You haven't apologized. And yet, you had all the opportunities to do that. So, and in the end, she apologized. But because I kept bringing it to her, and the customer kept, in a nice way, but firm. So, how does it translate the messages that the president gives and other leaders give? How does it translate into practical improvements from the sector, from the cell, from the district? It will start with you, the one who is seeking service. Right? Because every time you say, you know what? Do you want us to really beat you? Make jokes like that. And you insist. But you see, I have a problem with Rwandans, by the way. And I was making a comment the other day that I'm going to repeat here. The president wants us to be bold. He emboldens us in several ways. But for some reason that I don't know where it comes from, we choose to remain timid. For me, when I have a bold leader who emboldens me every day, I tell you I have no reason to myself to remain shy, to remain timid, to remain fearful, to remain coward. No, I'm just going to imitate him. That's something I have done, I have practiced, and it's real.
It's you.
Yeah, why can't you be me? You Arafat.
Do I know you? No, do I know you? I can't be you. Huh?
No, okay.
It's
so
you.
You can't be me.
Yes.
But I am imitating the president. Okay, you imitate me at least. If you can't imitate the president. But and there's the imitation.
The consequences will be hard on
emulating.
me.
Which consequences?
The consequences might be hard on me. So
how?
Maybe you will have to
where?
teach me.
By the way,
how you have to teach me on how to go about it.
The law will protect you. right?
No.
The law will protect you because the Minister of Justice is there. You know, is an immediate staff of the president. And so he is going to protect someone uzaba yarahohotewe n'uwamujije ko yatinyutse.
But seriously,
ubwoba tubana nabwo buva
icyo nemera, what we can do better, and I've seen it really works. I mean, to people out there who are watching, I think the only thing you can do is to air out what has happened to you.
Yes.
Put it on Twitter, put it on social media, tag GSI, tag,
just say it.
Tag Kabagambe, who is somehow big, and tag these others who will support you maybe in consequences, and then something might happen. But if you confront one of the officials, we've noticed it has happened to some people.
Okay, don't confront, but just say what happened.
Of course, some people have confronted these others saying, the services you gave me are not really, and this person was like, okay, we shall see. And it ends up this person not getting even a single service from what he
I know, but
don't you know that?
I know it, but yeah, especially there is a tweet that I did the other day where the president talked about someone, anybody someplace. I don't know whether anybody Kimirongo or someone else. I think maybe he had gone. Was it for outreach? And then a citizen who had been mistreated by a certain big fish. I don't know how.
Call it a big fish.
Yes.
We have them.
And then, that person approached the president, and he said, as that person approached me, he didn't even know the results he would get. Maybe he thought it would even be worse because now he was going to be looked at as having accused the other big person, and and so nk'okwiyahura nubavuga nubundi kama mbaya nubundi ndi mu bintu bingoye. Let me take it to him, and then he takes it to him.
How?
He talks to the president. The president was there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
in one of the dialogues,
I think, I don't know. Yeah, maybe in one of the outreaches in the Mukagari, Mudugud somewhere, and then the president listened to it and say, "Okay, now he tasked local leaders to rectify it. Bamurenganure. Rumva." And I think the leaders included even maybe members of the security organs. And then later, when the president had gone, this guy, the abuser of his authority, came back to the humble person, to the powerless person, and was bragging about it and saying, so
you sent me to the president.
You thought you thought that would help you. So has it helped you? And then he continued doing what
he was doing against that poor person.
Yeah, you see, I think, of course, the president was told the whole story, saying, "Okay, you've got to go to my eyes, to my ears," and they said, "I think this person really is not wise." And the president said, "Okay, so imagine someone making that kind of comment." Of course, in the end, I showed him, I am the president. But where you have a point is that if it had not gotten to the ears of the president that the other person bragged about it, so that the president comes back to make sure this time it's solved once and for all, maybe the other citizen would have been mistreated even
more.
Now,
worse actually.
Now, for me, worse actually. And so those are, if you want to say, those are the fears. That is the basis for the fear.
if you are to give someone a genuine response on how this beating that the president talked about, because we talk about beat them, but it's not beat them by caning or what.
Yeah, because that's why you haven't heard anyone beating.
Yes.
The beating is this.
Is report them.
Exactly. That's the
Make
beating.
sure that they are liable for what they've done to you.
Report them. Look them in the face.
Look them in the face.
Look them in the face and let anyone dare harm you. Because if they do, it will get to the law enforcement organs. It will get to the leaders. It will be acted upon. But if you keep your you don't come out, you just you see. Let me link it with again what the president many times says, and when he's responding, making commenting on how the world around us, the international community, treats us. He says he's like, you need to raise up and refuse this, reject it, don't accept it. The unequal, indignified treatment is not for us, and it's up to us to reject it. And then he goes on to say, and by the way, that is my only choice, to reject it and say to you in your face, because the kind of living I want to, the kind of living I live for is only meaningful if I get this that you are taking away from me. Otherwise, my life will have no meaning. No, it will. So that is how I look at even in service delivery. I will have to tell you what I think you need to do for me, because not telling you diminishes the value of my life. So I'm no longer fearing that you can make it worse because it's already bad. So I'm just making sure that you get it. And many times we live with the experiences that many times when we face these people, they bend and give us. And so give us what we're asking for. And by so doing, you benefit you as a person, but you are also imparted into that person the message that next time you do it, I will do it again like this. And I wish someone else was also doing it. And that is how we can practically translate the president's messages into actionable, actions that literally are seen as improved service.
Wow, I like it. And seriously, I like it from the point of, reporting. Report them. And of course, I've seen but
on social media, have you seen how people criticize me that ndarega nandi injajwa in English? I don't know what injajwa means. The other day I reported something in the city center about umwanda wa Rwanda, and someone dared to say ariko birakureba wiki, ingari ziratemba mu muhanda, and I report that, and someone is saying birakureba wiki, and so my mission and yours, thank you for calling me here, is to keep putting out these messages that contribute towards kubohora abanyarwanda ku ngoyi y'ubwoba kandi bayobowe n'umugabo utinyutse. I don't know, doesn't that really ubona wowe atari ihurizo?
So it's like someone is telling you, who actually heads all of you, that do this, and you're like, no, I'm scared someone below you will do something wrong about me.
Actually, do you know the way I can interpret it? It's like the person who is telling you to be bold. It's like I'm going to begin doubting whether you really trust them. Because if you really trusted them and you know they are the highest authority, then who else would you have to fear? Muri Bibiri hari abavuga ngo mu by'iyobokamana baravuga ngo niba ndi kumwe n'Imana ninde natinya? Who would be against me if God is on my side? For me, that is how I literally take my life muri bintu bya service delivery. I am with the head of state and the people who work for him. So who ninde wundi natinya? Nawe.
There is one.
Ariko nawe mbanguriya ngabona ufite ubwoba nawe nawe utizera head of state.
No, jewe ntabwo mfite kubera ko ubwoba ntabwo mfite. If you give me a poor service, one thing I can do, I'll look you in the eyes and say, this is not acceptable. I'll report it. And I know where to report it.
For
and
me,
of course,
my number one way of showing you I trust you is to go and do what you've told me to do. Yeah. But then you've said, go and be bold. And then I reach out and say,
and there is
how can you be bold here? What?
And I know there's one senator who can testify to that.
I mean, no.
There's one senator who suffered some of the consequences from that.
Of?
You remember the security guard?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the case. You know, some people actually know that it can happen to them. But of course...
No. So, but I want to hear from you how you interpret that case.
No, it is clear that if the head is saying, go to these people, tell them we don't want, because you are the ones representing him down there. You know,
yes,
the services are for you.
The security personnel who stood there and probably didn't even know this gentleman is a minister, didn't have to know.
So
that person was bold.
But very bold. Yeah. Very bold.
That's the boldness everyone
we like those people. Yes. And I think it's your job, it's my job to keep moving this awareness that you can say what you want.
Absolutely.
And of course we've seen that the international media and people from the West continue to criticize Rwanda, that majority Rwandans live in fear and they don't have to say anything. But now I also wonder, how comes the head is telling us to say what we want to say or what is going on?
Did the head of state ever point out, now Arafat, you and Kawagambe and Murorunwere and Biryabarema and Gashugi, Nimwebwe, you are the ones who are going to be saying, you are the ones who are going to be bold, and you'll be okay. The rest I can't promise. Did he ever say that?
No.
So if you're
this
looking
applies to 14 million Rwandans.
Yes, if you're looking at me, I'm doing it. I'm here. Why can't you do it? What's wrong with you? But I also know, by the way, let me be honest.
I also said I'm not you.
I know. it takes.
I will do it at my level. I do it at my level.
You have to have you have.
Yes.
Not only do you have to have balls, they really must be good ones. Because I know
now people can imagine. You've said it. Yeah, but of course the point is clear, is that you can do it. If it comes to service, there's no mistake, there's nothing wrong you've done.
No,
and of course you are asking for, you have the right to have good service.
Actually, when you don't push back, when you don't look them in the face and people and say, no, I refuse that. Indeed, like the president says, the service provider concludes
that it's a good service delivered.
That there is no problem, it's acceptable.
That it's a good service delivered.
It's a good service delivery.
And I think I've now got it for sure.
Yeah.
I think you give a room to the service people who deliver the services to keep doing
Yeah, that's what it means.
That's it.
How did the accountability, because accountability that you kept talking about, how the levels have kept going up is through action. by law, by the leadership of this country, clearly showing there is none above the law. That's why you just mentioned the minister. And you can name so many others.
There are so many.
That is how it has grown. So the corruption levels, that's how they are low. Because you keep, the leadership keeps acting mu buryo bugaragara. So bikavamo ko abantu batangira gutinya ibintu, gukora ibintu bikaba bidakorwa mu Rwanda unless you're just hiding under something.
Okay, let's go to our last and third topic. You've seen that in the recent week, we've had quite, the news were actually breaking around the Great Lakes region about the US Department of Treasury sanctioning Rwanda Defense Force and other 4 army officers. Of course, tracing from the accused support of Rwanda to M23 and Rwanda's failure to, respect the US brokered
protocol agreement,
agreements,
the US deal,
the US deal, failure to, broker deal in the US to respect the agreements that were made under in the US. So what does this mean to you? Because so many people have talked about it, but to a lay person, they don't understand what it means. We hear sanctions, and now when we hear sanctions on RDF and these officers, what do they mean? What were the sanctions? If you can go deeper into opening these papers for us, can you tell us what is inside the sanctions?
I don't. By the way, I liked it when you introduced our conversation as casual. And indeed, it is casual. It's not official.
It's not.
And so I also have no official information.
Yeah.
Beyond what you and I look at.
Yes, what we saw.
In the media, what the Office of Government Spokesperson has put out, what the Minister of Foreign Affairs has said, what the President of this country has said, what analysts, political, say, and what we pick from what those with official responsibilities say, and then we amplify, and then we interpret, and then we dissect, and then because that's what we do.
Definitely.
That's what.
Definitely.
So I don't think even if you had told me before I came that you want us to talk about sanctions and what they mean, I don't think I would be asking anyone to say, No, I don't have to. So because I've been seeing.
These are things that have been going on,
I've been seeing. I don't even know what RDF has been sanctioned with. What did they say they are going to do to RDF?
They can't, number one, they can't make transactions.
Like buying arms or what?
Buying arms, because you have to buy arms in dollars, in USD. Buying arms, you can't trade gold because you have to trade gold in dollars, probably.
Does RDF trade gold? I don't know.
No, it's one of the examples, let's say, if in case they do. You can't buy, you can't make transaction through US dollars. And of course, when you're making outside transactions, mostly they have to be in that currency. So I think it is about transactions that they can, because it's US Department of Treasury, that issued these sanctions. They call it US sanctions, but of course the department that issued them is about, transactions and freezing some assets of.
So I can't buy directly, right?
You
can't. Now I'm beginning now to learn. So I can't buy directly some of those things like I need arms for my defensive measures.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I need missiles. I need
you can't,
drones. I need aircraft. So I can't buy.
You can't buy. You can't get any. I mean, you can't get if they had assets maybe in the US or in that department that are controlled by that department, perhaps they can't still have access to them. Same applies to these officials. You can't you can't fly to the US.
Fly there to do what?
It's
General Mubarak.
He has
General
a lot.
Ruki.
It's Mubalaka, Ruki, Stanislas Gashuji, and I mean
Nyakarundi.
Yes, those ones cannot fly to the US.
So
they have a lot of work to do here. They can't. Why would they go to the US? Why would they want to go to the US?
So for me, I have a feeling that when those people are doing that, they just merely sending a message. To the government of Rwanda, right? Maybe it's like they want to send a message which is like, we just did this. You may think it's small, but we can do more if you don't. If you don't listen. But now let me say again, listen. The message they are giving to Rwanda, Rwanda already has it. Rwanda has given it to itself. So Rwanda is, for a long time now, is not a country led by a government that you can just use those kinds of intimidations. You're sanctioning generals, leaders of RDF. You're sanctioning RDF. Just sanctioning. I don't even know what that means. So, but maybe to them it means something. And these are people who, these are career army officers who have lived with much worse than that.
There's nothing actually in that.
I think all of them, of course, were there. They saw the genocide. They participated. And their commander-in-chief is who he is. And he's been saying this time and again. That sanctions these. And I have a feeling when President Kagame is saying that, just telling those people to go to hell. What is he saying? He's saying that, it's like saying, there is nothing you can do to us that can harm us in a way we have never been harmed. There is no risk you can put there in our face that we have not faced in our history over the last 35 years.
There's totally nothing.
Since 1990. There is nothing. And I have been seeing RPF and eventually Rwanda since 1987 when RPF was established, launched. 1990, RPF started, the armed wing of RPF. The only setback I remember in that history, the only setback I remember was in October 1990, after the death of Fred Rwigema. It was a setback, I know. And that is the only time, because I was there. I know what happened. That was the only time in my adult life of being a member of RPF that I ever felt really worried, not knowing what is going to be. What is going
you
to
didn't
happen
know what
to
was
me.
going to
Yes,
happen next.
I just felt like we were losing it. And I was so worried. Nta kindi gihe mu mateka ya RPF na nyuma ho yaje kuyoborera u Rwanda, I haven't seen any other setback that worries me. Maybe a stumble here and there, miss a step here and there. But what I have witnessed is gradual progress, gradual strengthening, gradual wealth creation in this country, gradual transformation of the lives of Rwandan, gradual improvement in service delivery, gradual improvement in international relations, gradual improvement in military capacity, gradual improvement in education, gradual improvement in health services and education, improvement in the roads, in the infrastructure, in everything, gradual improvement in the dignity of a Rwandan, gradual respect in the international fora, in where we go out there with, gradual confidence by people who are still live outside Rwanda that they can count on their country. So I've seen gradual growth that knows no setback since that time. And so I look at these sanctions. I don't even have to ask anyone, because I've already gotten the message of the president, and when he says it, it is amplified by his Minister of Foreign Affairs, who says, okay, sanctions, if they were to ever going to solve the problems in Eastern Congo, I would sign tomorrow. Do people even understand what the president and his minister are saying? I don't. So,
because now the question is also, will these sanctions really help mend the problem or derail the negotiations? Because now that's the problem. Because if you sanction one party and you leave the other, are you trying to say that you are forcing this party to accept negotiations or what?
But the president says it. He tells it he says it to them that your actions, the actions you take, embolden the other man. And he tells them, see, what you are doing by just looking at Rwanda and pinning us down and accusing us for about everything in Eastern Congo, and you never holding in a serious way accountable the president, the government in Kinshasa, what do you think you are doing? You are emboldening them. You want this conflict to come to an end. You want the fighting side to come to an agreement, but in the end, at the end of the day, in an embarrassingly visible way, you are sided with
the other side because of the interest.
Yes, and you are siding with the stronger side, the government. What about these people who are fighting to survive, to be legitimate citizens, to have dignity? What are you doing? And that's why Rwanda comes up and say, by the way, we are supporting them and we are not apologetic about that. Instead, you should be questioning yourselves if you don't support the cause of AFC M23. It seems you have a problem. So you want that. So I think these sanctions, in my honest view, why they keep coming once in a while, they originate from decision makers in the country where they originate, who really don't know what Rwanda is. What is the DNA of the leaders and the Rwandans in general? They just don't understand us. They don't because do they even understand how we are where we are right now? Do they even understand it?
They don't know.
Do they understand, for example...
thousands of km from here.
Do they understand how we are so poor, so cold, we have nothing, we don't have minerals, and yet we are so ably guarding against protecting our sovereignty at our borders and slightly beyond. When that country of over 100 million people with all resources are just crying baby, crying fall, crying... Do they even understand how the little us, the nothing us, are able to do for us what those people cannot do for themselves? So, do they understand that? So, or are they at least trying to study and learn us and stop taking us for granted? Because we are who you are by design. It's not accidental.
It's what we chose to be.
It's what we chose. And there were hard decisions, and there were sacrifices, and there were deaths, and blood was shed. And the genocide happened here, and we learned a lot. So those people still miss a point. But I think they're learning. So that's why they choose to sanction, just sanction. They know that is nothing.
For me, one thing that really strongly stood out for me when the president was speaking to the diplomatic corps last week?
Yeah.
I mean, these people's failure, because you can't say that you are the person to amend two parties, and you're also clearly showing that you have interests in one of the country. If the US is saying that it is the one in these negotiations, and it is clear showing that it wants minerals from DRC, it is. I don't even understand how that is possible. You are telling someone, please, I want you to give me this, and also you are saying, please, you have to understand the other person. That is not possible. Another thing to me is, if you tell me that I lift my security measures on my border, are you crazy? Do you understand even what you're saying? Because I have a threat that is likely going to come to that side of the FDRR, who participated here in the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. They fled there, and then you brought them into your army. They're now some are head of your army, and then you tell me you lift your measures on the border. I'd rather die on the border. I can't lift the measures. Some people, I think it also comes from failure to understand the history. I think it also comes from that. Some people have failed to really grasp and understand the history.
Or probably they even know us, because the other... Okay, I said they...
Can you imagine integrating the army, integrating people who perpetrated the genocide, and then you put them in your army, and you think I'm going to tolerate that? For me, I don't really understand that as well, because I think it's one of the biggest points for me I look at when I see these people that are not serious.
There is a Ugandan Rwandan. He lives in Uganda. They're in their own struggles to make sure they are accorded the dignity they deserve as Ugandans of Rwandan origin. And so they are on their own struggles, and I have been observing the progress they are making. And so the gentleman is famous on social media, on YouTube. I'll get the name later and share it with you.
Kashumba.
Gashumba is... No, not Gashumba. Gashumba, I'm not his fan, because for one reason, he just thinks abavandimwe, why is abavandimwe,
But Gashumba is among the people who have pushed this narrative to reach where they are.
Exactly, but he's pushing it. He's shooting with abavandimwe. He just wants to go hari abavandimwe ngo hari abanyarwanda. Does that sound sensible to you?
Who is this one?
But as far as rights for hari uwundi ndaza kumukubwira nibagiwe izina rye. And so that guy is rich with the history of the things in the region, and he knows. And so he said that the Rwandan fighters, RPF, when they left here, when they left Uganda, their slogan was like this: we're either winning and taking over, or we are going to die. So there is no coming back. There is no coming back to Uganda. You know?
Yeah.
And he describes it, and then he says, Rwanda, small as it is, DRC 89 times, but see how it puts it on its knees. So that is not something I want to amplify, but I'm just saying. But what I want to tell you is what the most meaningful part of his conversation is. Why,
as small as we are, we can put you on your knees.
Okay, in a fair way. Yeah. But what I liked about what I liked more, what took my attention more, not what I liked. He said in Rwanda, he said, Abanyarwanda bafugika gwe. Abanyarwanda bafugika. That it is not easy to control us when we are not aligned to your end. When it doesn't align with our interests. And he said that is why we were put in this tiny, in this small place.
It was part of the punishment, eh?
Because if you give them huge chunks of land and resources, they're just going to. Now, I can tell you, it hasn't worked for them. It has not worked. And so, but you know why I said that? It's because earlier I had said they don't know us. But I'm blending it with something like they knew us long time ago. That's why
they
confined us here. But we are in the end, we are everywhere. We are in the region. We are in all these countries, and we are in their countries. President Kagame one time used an analogy which said, okay, if you want to get to Rwanda and squeeze it in your palm and crush it the way you would crush a fly, because we are like ghee, tumezenga mavuta ikimuri, mavuta inga, yafate noneho ngushaka ngukuyababaza da,
it will penetrate through all the holes and germinate.
So and so whenever sanctions are mentioned, well, of course, I'm concerned. I know it will destabilize me, to make me think, but every time, why I don't even care about the details, I just know we haven't been affected in a tangible way. Ever since these sanctions were done, it's just nothing. We have evolved in such a way that we can live with them, we can live through them, we can thrive despite them, and I think they even make us more resilient. Yeah, they make us more used to looking at ourselves in terms of how further we can advance. They make us less dependent on them. That's not something bad.
They make us more resilient.
They make us more thoughtful, more resilient, more looking inward. They make us develop further wisdom on how we can link and relate with others who are not that oppressive and that condescending. They are in the West, they make us look East. And in the end, we make inroads into economic and diplomatic partnerships that have paid dividends to this country. So sanctions, let them stay every year because we have lived with them.
Sure.
But the president said, okay, and he's asking us, so the sanctions are here. So what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Stop, because there's no way I can, if you are sanctioning me because my defensive measures are very are watertight, you can go to hell. I'm not going to relax unless you sort out, unless you solve the problem, the reason as to why I put them there in the first place.
Sure.
So you want me to remove my defensive measures, and FDLR is still there? Are you crazy? Okay.
Did you hear this as well? Did you hear that the son of the former president, Habyarimana,
Luke,
went to
somebody.
DRC?
Yes.
Imagine, this is a clear, I mean, they're trying to show that he's going there for a reason. He's going there to meet maybe FDRR, maybe these others. But what can he do?
Yeah, but Nani has been pictured. Tshisekedi has been pictured before with Gasana, now this time. So he's, of course, Luke Kayumba has been there. I mean, Tshisekedi is so desperate, by the way, that he will welcome anyone who has the courage or half the courage or just a fraction of it to want to fight the government of Rwanda.
No, this country has gone far, far beyond anyone's ability to bring any turbulence to it.
How?
This country is really far. We are very far to be able to be captured by any turbulence. So that for sure I agree. So I think we've really discussed serious things here, and if there's anything you feel like you wanted to air out before we close this, maybe out of all what we said, what you think is like a closing remark?
I was sounding probably tough in my analysis, but deep inside me, I'm so relaxed. I'm so relaxed, and I was watching the president talk to the diplomatic corps the other day in a televised message, and he was talking to diplomats using different tone and language from what he applies when he's talking to us in the room, RPF members, Rwandans, mushyikirano mu mwiherero. Yeah, but I read him, and so he has the tale of tortoise and the lion and the deer, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I will always make sure I interpret him right, because when I interpret him, it informs how I'm going to sleep like and walk like the following day. And I'm looking at him as so the confidence in what Rwanda is up to and the leadership it gets from the direction. I mean, the leadership, the direction the leadership gives it, and our strength and our limitations and our opportunities and our circumstances and our realities. Every time I listen to him, actually, it gives me more confidence in the sustainability of what we have and hope of growing what we already have to expand it in future. And so he's there talking humbly, but the strategist in him communicates to you in more ways than what you are seeing or what you can get from his words. So I derive confidence, and I would want any other Rwandan to feel confident, because what is happening around us, what is happening in Eastern Congo, is not about to get worse. No, it's not about to get worse. Get worse how? How can it get worse? How can it get worse? That the security threat is going to... No. No. So I wish I would share this confidence with as many Rwandans as possible, because when the president tells us, just go and sleep soundly, he means it. He says, we mean what we say and say what we mean. So I'm not one of those people who get out and start doubting what he says, because he never says something that he doesn't mean.
Wow.
He says a lot less than he knows. So everything that comes out of him is true because he understands his position. So he's never going to blow things out of proportion. You know? Yeah, so for me, I am okay, I am happy, I am relaxed, I am concerned, I am vigilant, I'm patriotic, I'm alert, I'm awake, and I'm working. And my job in regard to this that we've just been talking about, making reference to what the president says, is me and you to amplify it, to repeat it. It's like what we've been talking about in the field of service delivery in general. Like emboldening the citizens. So even in terms of politics and security and economics, let's amplify the messages of the leadership. Let's amplify the messages of the president. Let's repeat them and broaden and expand them and dissect them in a way that he wants us to understand them and communicate and relay them to the world of Rwandans and the wider world. Because in this age of information warfare, you can lose the mind of your citizens, and in the end, your genuine support, if you don't proactively, aggressively, consistently, and in a way that is sophisticated, using various ways, images, text, and videos and audio, if you don't put to them the messages you want them to take every day. So I call upon you and other people to keep listening to the leadership and making sure we align and making sure we amplify and make sure we sow this confidence that he wants us to have among every Rwandan.
Oh, wow. That's deep. That's deep. We've had a very educative, informative, and of course, most inspiring conversation. And for sure, I appreciate your time here.
Thank you.
To our viewers, we appreciate your time, and we see your comments out there. We see how you guide us you always come up with new topics that educate you. That is not something we take for granted. We appreciate you. Go and watch. See you next time. Bye for now.